It's Abby Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. Hope you're having a great day. Happy New Year to everybody. Today we're going to be doing our member spotlight, which we do every single Wednesday around this time, and we're going to be dropping in on Heather Best. Heather is a hand-dyed yarn person, and she's going to show us all about her brand, So Happy Jane. So Heather, I see you've joined, and I'm going to let you in. And yarn, and also about having a yarn subscription, which is something that I think a lot of people would like to do or to subscribe to. So, hey, Heather, how are you?
Hi.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Yeah. So I would love to hear a little bit about your business, So Happy Jane. Will you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I am an indie dyer, which means an independently operating yarn dyer. And I dye yarn here in Idaho. I'm near Boise in sort of what we call the Treasure Valley. So a little bit outside of Boise proper.
Okay.
And this is my 6th year.
Nice. And so how did you get into dyeing yarn? Did you start out as a knitter?
I did. I started as a knitter. And then I got really excited about spinning yarn. And so I did that for a little while. I learned how to spin. And then I started getting excited about learning how to dye. So I went to my local sort of multi-craftual shop and bought some dyes and started messing around with that in my kitchen and just seeing what would happen. And then a friend of mine started teaching a yarn dyeing class, and at the time I was a music teacher. I was a music teacher for 19 years, and up until the pandemic hit, I was teaching music and dyeing yarn. And so I didn't think that I had time to do it, but I really, really wanted to learn, so I went ahead and took her class and immediately fell in love.
That's great. And where were you teaching music, at a high school?
I taught music pre-K through high school choir, but at that time I had a private independent studio, which is actually where I'm sitting. It's a house separate from my house, so I'm really lucky because I had a spare kitchen kind of in the back of where I was teaching piano and voice lessons and preschool music classes and doing all kinds of different music related things. But I had this kitchen that nobody was using, so I was able to sort of start messing around back there before I would teach classes and making messes that didn't have to be cleaned up. If you've ever seen a yarn dyer's dye studio, I know some people do it in their house and like keep it really clean, but I'm not that person.
Yeah, you were definitely lucky. Are there some things that you find to be similar since you recently had a career shift between, all the years that you spent teaching music and dyeing yarn? Is there any carryover there that has helped you with your yarn dyeing business?
I think the thing that drew me to teaching music in the first place is the storytelling aspect, and that like the humanness of what music does to sort of bring us together. And so I love the stories that I could tell with music, with words or without words. And I am a vocalist, so I have a vocal performance degree, but I don't love performing, so I never really did much of that. But I also played the piano since I was 8. And I learned a lot from both of those things about how to tell stories without words. And I know this seems kind of like a long stretch, but my favorite thing about dyeing yarn is telling a story. And I love that I can create sort of like this inner dialogue in my mind as I'm working through a collection or putting together sort of like, I'm really in love with putting together perfect pairings, which is 2 skeins of yarn. So using like a tonal yarn and a variegated yarn together, or a speckled yarn, which you can see in this sweater. I love being able to put one little story into this otherwise pink sweater. And the shawl that I'm wearing has a colorway that I started dyeing almost from the very beginning, called Agate Beach, which was inspired by my grandparents had a house on Lopez Island in Washington State, and they lived right on Agate Beach, and they had this huge fireplace filled with agates.
Wow.
That I thought was really, really ugly when I was a kid because I didn't understand how awesome that was. Anyway, this colorway was designed, inspired by that fireplace and that beach. So many of the colors that I dye come from stories. So I think story is one of the biggest connections. And of course, when I moved out of the classroom organization, you cannot be a teacher without pretty good organization skills, or at least you won't last very long as a teacher without good. But when I moved into private practice, I really learned how to run a business,
right,
and how to set boundaries around my time, how to organize my time, how to communicate with other people so that they understand what they can expect from me and what they're going to get, and how to help them when they need help. So I feel like those things have been very helpful.
Yeah, I bet. That's great. What a neat story. So can you show us, I mean, we see your shawl, your beautiful shawl, and your sweater behind you. Do you have some skeins of yarn nearby that you could show us some samples? Okay, perfect.
I do. I'll tell you, my favorite project that I'm working on right now is my Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club. It's a monthly subscription club that is inspired by the seasons, and it has been such an incredibly amazing outlet for me to be able to tell a story every month. Something interesting to me, something that I think that I can make my customers' lives a little better by sharing. So this is the box that it comes in. It's called the Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club, and when you get the box, inside you'll find a little journey that takes you through a whole adventure or a theme. This is the January box that I shipped out earlier in December, so everybody has it. I'm going to actually unbox it for the first time today. Yay. And you get this little project card with a quote that sort of has inspired the theme, and so this is all about a cozy new year. The quote is, "To read a poem in January is as lovely as to go for a walk in the month of June." And you can see the little stack of books and the basket of yarn and the fire. And so that carries through the whole opening experience. You get the little sticker that matches and the tissue paper that matches. And then of course the yarn is dyed to reflect the—
This is so cool. We're getting unboxing.
You're getting an unboxing. So if you haven't opened your January box, don't watch this. I write a letter every month talking about the story that inspired me and why I chose this theme. Every month you get a little bit of information about pattern suggestions that I think would work great for the box. And the members of my club always get a discount for anything that's on my website, as well as larger quantities of custom orders. So like if you get one skein of DK and you're like, what do I do with this? I want to knit a sweater. Then you can email me and say, I need 4 skeins of that rosy glow color to go with my monthly club color, and you'll get a discount on that. All right, so then you open up the box, and inside there are some special little gifts that are chosen to match. And this month was a handmade pom-pom from No Hooks Given, and these amazing little champagne bubbly truffles from Seattle Chocolate Company. And they have pop rocks in them, so when you put them in your mouth, they pop like champagne, which is pretty cute. And then of course, this is the perfect pairing of the fingering weight yarn. And so these are the 2 colors that I did this month. This is the hand painted or variegated skein, and it has all the blues and pinks, and then a matching sort of like taupey beige, pinky tonal that goes with it. So then you can scan the QR code on the back of your letter, and it will take you straight to my Ravelry group where a friend and I have hand selected some patterns that will be perfect for your perfect pairing. So
Oh,
one
nice.
of the,
What a great thing to get in the mail. It's
I
so
know,
yeah, it's like a wonderful treat.
I hope that you feel extremely loved. There's a lot of thought and care that goes into every box, and I want people to feel like that love is coming through loud and clear. So
Yeah.
one of my skills that I feel that I'm really strong. I have a very specific aesthetic, and I really love yarn that has evenly dyed color throughout, so that when you knit it up, you get texture all the way across in a sort of even pattern instead of like zigzags or little stripes, which are fine, and some people love that, but that is not my dye style. My dye style is a very specific technique that helps me to achieve even color throughout the knitted project when you finish, so you get a look like this. So no matter what colors are in the yarn, the outcome is still like a nice sort of timeless and classic look that I'm going for. So
that's awesome. And I know this coming month, so January, toward the end of the month, we're going to be having our webinar. We do a webinar every month, but our webinar at the end of January is focused on subscription boxes. So maybe you'll have a chance to come and can share some of your expertise that you've gained over the course of having this box. But yeah, Moira Fuller, she's a subscription box expert and coach, is going to be coming to talk to us about how to integrate that as part of your business. So for anyone who's like, wow, I would love to create a subscription box similar to something like this for whatever craft it is that you do, I think that will be really helpful, because it's a really neat, piece of component of a business, of a craft business, is to have a box like this.
It has truly, I hit a point of burnout like last summer when I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because this is just so exhausting, and the constant like hustle of trying to get people to shop my monthly updates and come to my shows, and having to travel to shows. Like I was in New York for Rhinebeck, and just like getting 2,000 skeins of yarn over 500, like just taking all your stuff everywhere. Anyway, it was just wearing my body down and wearing my soul down. And I was like, what can I do to make this feed my creative soul and also make my customers feel truly special and really loved? And launching this box I really feel like it has been sort of revolutionary for me personally as a business owner.
That's great to hear. So yeah, so I hope people will come, and maybe you'll get a chance to come too, and either learn a few new things or share some of what you have learned already. Because I agree with you, and I've heard from a lot of people, and actually a lot of different sectors of the craft industry, for whom launching a subscription box has been really like the thing that made their business take off and made them feel happy in their business as well. So I think that's super cool. Okay, so tell us where people can go to check out everything you have to offer, but also to sign up for the subscription box. Can they sign up at any time? Is it always open, or is there an open and closed period?
There are open and closed periods, and I'm actually going to open it today. As soon as I actually am having internet problems at my house, and I'm not working this week, so I came to the studio to do the live, but I didn't have time to like flip the switch. So as soon as I get off of this call, I'm gonna flip that switch, and you'll be able to sign up. There's always like a waitlist landing page if you miss sort of the open, but so many of the things that I'm including in the boxes, like these little handmade pom-poms, are coming from other artists that need to be ordered in advance. So I close it once I kind of get that number, then I can plan out the next couple of months. I almost always, because I have a super flexible enrollment policy, like you can skip and cancel and pretty much any time, as long as you do it by the 24th of the month. That's really the only parameter. So you can skip and cancel, which means that there's always some flux for me, but I kind of once I know that flux, then I'll open and say, hey, I have this many extra boxes for this month. So it's not always open, but it's going to be open through, I think, January 2nd. We'll see. We'll see how, because I have some openings that I know
perfect.
I can fill.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many details around how to logistically make this work because you're not alone in ordering. I mean, you're creating your own core products,
right?
And like literature and things like enclosures, but you're also ordering products from other artists. And so there has to be a wait time. You need to be able to estimate how much. I mean, it's very interesting. Like there's a lot to running a business like this. So I love it. I think it's really great. I'm so glad you landed on it. And I hope people will go and check it out. And tell us I was curious about the name of your business as a whole. So Happy Jane, where did that come from? Because it's not your name.
No.
So I was like, it must have come from someone.
Yeah. So actually, my name is Heather Jane. Okay. And I was named after my grandmother. My paternal grandmother was named Jane. I never knew her. She passed long before I was ever born. Hi, Carla Jean. It is, but it is my middle name. So many years ago, I had a sewing business before I was ever a yarn dyer. Hey. And when I started learning how to dye yarn, and then people started asking for it, and I was like, well, I don't have a business. So I kind of like brought So Happy Jane back from the grave and sort of hand drew out this logo. I remember I was sitting on the floor with my daughter. We were trying to work on it, like make some fun little yarn bands to give yarn to friends. And I was like, this is so lame. These look terrible. And she said, that's okay, Mom. If you decide you really want to do this, you can try harder later.
That's a great attitude, actually. So, just try and start it, right? Because if you really do want to do it, you can try harder later.
Yeah.
So really
I had the new logo professionally designed. But after like 2 years, I mean, within the first 6 months, I actually had a wholesale order in a yarn shop before I ever even got yarn on a website for myself. As soon as I started dyeing and people started seeing my specific technique for blended colors across like a skein of yarn and like really timeless colors, I was getting wholesale orders really fast out of the gate, which I think also contributed to some of the burnout because I was like rolling.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it. I did not see it coming at all. I was fully engaged in teaching music. I had like 36 private students and like Montessori preschool classes and homeschool classes. And I was like, this is not my business. But so the name So Happy Jane became familiar to a lot of people. And at that point, I thought, I really can't change it. I know it's not a sewing business. And I thought maybe I could change it to S-O Happy Jane. So Happy Heather just didn't sound as cute as So Happy Jane.
Down the road, you could always just change it to Happy Jane and take off the so. I mean, that would be another way to do it. So who knows? But
which is why when I did the club, I came up with Hand Dyed Happy Yarn Club. And so I often, that is my tagline, is Hand Dyed Happy. I've thought about changing the business name to that. But changing a business name is so much work that I was like, no, we're not doing that.
I know. You got to be really ready. So I hear that for sure. So, well, Heather, this has been great. It was really wonderful talking to you. Your enthusiasm and just passion for what you do really shines through. So I'm so happy to have you as a Craft Industry Alliance member and that you came on our member spotlight today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
I appreciate everything the Craft Industry Alliance does for us. I joined the mastermind group 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
Our group is still together. We just finished our 2nd year of getting together at least once a month to talk.
That makes me so happy. Yeah. We have a couple of groups. I think that might have been our first go round.
Yes.
And we have a couple of groups that are just like yours that are still connected with one another. I love it. And what would be so cool is if everyone from those original groups, or really from any of the groups that want to, come to H&H in June and meet up and have a chance to see each other in person. How cool would that be?
Yes.
So, but I love to hear that folks are still meeting. And our mastermind groups are actually kicking off again right now. They're just this week. So it's such a good program.
It is. So if you're a business owner that needs some support and like people to talk to, I mean, those mastermind people have been with me from way before I started the
Yeah.
subscription box, through like the whole iteration, like dreaming it up, talking about it, thinking about it, bouncing ideas off of each other. And it's been, I know that it doesn't always click. So if you don't get in the right group the first time, just keep on trying, because
Right.
it is truly invaluable. We work alone and it's so isolating. It's so invaluable to have other people in this industry to be able to talk to and help you. So
100%. I'm in my own mastermind group. It's been over 2 years as well. And like, I love those women so much. So I totally understand what you're saying
yeah.
and agree with you. It is isolating. We need each other. We need to talk to people who get it and who can bounce ideas off and give you feedback and just say, you know, celebrate your successes and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
that's fabulous. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
everybody
you.
who came this week, and we'll see you next week, same time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Heather. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank